What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Career Mode. This is episode number 5. And we start today's episode off with a brief look at what would have been the Europa League group stage this season. Of course, that competition never really took place as Wolves aren't in the Europa League this year. But just to let you guys know, there'll be no more European football whatsoever this season as I forfeited the competition and thankfully we exited the group stage. I don't need to worry about it at all. Messing up my fixture scheduling and whatnot. And for the first game of today's episode here, we welcome the current Premier League champions Liverpool to Molineux. Right now as the Reds sit in second place, 8 points behind Manchester City, who lead the way, and for us in 7th place right now in the best run of form of this season. We had a really poor start to the campaign, but right now we've had 4 wins in our last 5 games and we've won 3 straight as well. So if there was ever a time to face one of the best teams in the world, it was now. So welcoming Klopp's side to Molineux here. I decided to play very brave in this game, not just look for the draw. We beat Arsenal away from home very recently at the Emirates Stadium, but go all out attack and go for the goals and go for the win. And 19 minutes in, we will take the lead through that man once again. He is already a fan's favourite here at Molineux, and I'll be honest here, he's been my favourite player to use in this year's FIFA so far. Yes, Renato Sanchez, we spent the big bucks to bring him in a summer transfer window from Lille, and the Portuguese midfielder has been nothing short of sublime. Adama Traore, who's really picked his form up recently, storms down the right hand side, dinks into the middle, and as Sanchez beats his man, a lovely little scissor kick. Paolo Di Canio will be proud of that one as our number 4 puts it into the back of the net and gives us the lead as we go in front. We were looking at a better team in this game as well, and full value for the lead as well, but in the second half, just after the hour mark here, Liverpool had their first real chance of the game. Sadio Mane playing a lovely 1-2 with his man there, and as he rolls it across the edge of the 6-yard area, Fabinho turns it in from close range after Patricio came up to meet him, and the Brazilian puts the Reds back on level terms. And that was how the game will finish as well. Final score, Wolves 1, Liverpool 1. The visitors had like 68% possession in this game. It was so infuriating, 93% pass accuracy as well, and in the end they got their equalising goal through their only shot on target. But I've got to show you the stats of Connor Cody come full time as well. He won the ball back 10 times in this game and had a defensive masterclass, and without him we would have lost this game by multiple goals. He did a great job of keeping the front 3 quiet, and unfortunately couldn't hold on to the 3 points there, but great display from Cody, of course, once of Liverpool, as we get ourselves a credible point there and keep the undefeated streak going. The win streak might be over after 3 games, but we now haven't lost a game since the end of October against Manchester City at Molineux, who still lead the way right now in the race for the Premier League title. So on a great run of form right now, taking on Everton. They're just above us in the tables. They're looking for a Europa League place for next season there. Massive battle at Goodison Park. Both teams really needing the win and not just a draw. It was a really lively start to the game as well. Both teams really going at it in the early stage. It's been the 44th minute here. Well, you know, there are some times where I can blame the AI for a goal we've conceded, or I can tip my hat to the AI opponent and just say that their play style or their shot or whatever was just too good and too hard to stop. But sometimes I have to hold my hands up and say I've made a mistake and this goal is on me, and this was that moment here. Try to play out from the back with Johnny, as I always like to do. I rarely ever press the circle button for a straight clearance, and gave it away cheaply with the Spaniard. Rodriguez intercepts, Richarlison with the awareness, nods it into his path as he makes the off-the-ball run, and the Colombian, a fan's favourite Goodison Park already, puts Everton in front, and it was my error for the goal, absolutely, no doubt about that. But 4 minutes after the restart, still trailing by 1, looking for that equalising goal, looking for that response, and these two have got a lovely little bromance going this season. Recently, they linked up for 2 disallowed goals, but in our last 2 games, they have assisted each other for the other one's goals. In the last game against Liverpool, it was Traore feeding Sanchez, but for the leveller here, it was Sanchez repaying the Spaniard as Traore gets his 3rd goal of the season to make it 1-1. I love the connection these two have in this team. It's brilliant. With 20 minutes to go, James Rodriguez almost put Everton back in front with a wonderful bending effort from a free kick, 25 yards from goal here. The Colombian really is a fan's favourite on Merseyside already, and I thought this was in, as did Carlo Ancelotti on the sidelines as well, off the outside of the post and behind for a goal kick, because it was still 1-1, and it seemed like there was going to be a late winner in this game as well. And with 3 minutes to go. Rodriguez at heart of everything rolls through DCL, but what a save by Rui Patricio. Brilliant one-on-one stop there as he comes out off his line quickly, makes the smother save, I call it, if you will, at the feet of DCL, and eventually we nod it back to him as we get possession back in our favour. So final score, Everton 1, Wolves 1. Really great game. It was really Rodriguez versus Patricio in this game. Fantastic match by both players, but in the end a 1-1 draw, and I'll take it. And whilst the win streak is now officially over, it is back-to-back draws for Wolves. It's still 2 very credible points there against both Merseyside clubs who are both in European places as for now. So I'll take both results there, and taking on Fulham on Christmas Eve for our 3rd of 5 games in today's episode as we close out the month of December. I needed to return to winning ways in this one, and it was a real relief to see this site as well. Raul Jimenez back on the score sheet after a couple of games without a goal. The Mexican puts us into a very early lead there, heading in from close range to make it 1-0. But in the 15th minute, well, I mentioned in the game against Everton, sometimes I can blame the AI, sometimes I can blame myself, sometimes I just have to blame bad luck. Fulham right now sat in the relegation zone, got themselves a leveller in the 16th minute, but it was a really unfortunate goal to concede. Once again, Patricio comes off his line quickly, makes the save from close range, but the ball ricochets off the back of the man on the floor, right back to the opposition, and with a goal gaping, he turns it in to the unguarded net. Wolves 1, Fulham 1. Bit of bad luck there, but it's going to happen from time to time, so I wasn't too mad about it, but I knew we'd get back in front at some point, and 10 minutes later we would through, guess who? Raul Jimenez once again. The Mexican with yet another goal. He's now into double digits for the season as he restores our lead to make it 2-1. And even when Fulham got back on level terms through that unlucky moment, I still felt we'd win this game. We were the far better team from start to finish. Again, right now sat in the Europa League spot. Fulham very out of form in the relegation zone right now. We were still in full control, even when the score was tied temporarily. And in the 68th minute, should have made it 3-1 and got our 2-goal cushion. Renato Sanchez played forward. Great save by Rodak though, as he pushed it behind for a corner. Still final score, Wolves 2, Fulham 1. Back to winning ways here at Molineux. Stats kind of deceptive really. I always present the highlight package very fairly. We were the far better team and thoroughly deserved a win, and for Jimenez as well, bagging that brace too. I said recently, you know, if Raul Jimenez gets injured or suspended or goes out of form, we've got no chance of making the Europa League, let alone the Champions League, and I maintain that as well. He and Renato Sanchez have been our best 2 players this season. That was one of those games where the Mexican is just so clinical in front of goal. And so for our penultimate game of today's episode here, first game outside of Christmas, taking on Everton here in the reverse fixture, as we had faced both Everton and Liverpool twice in this run to end December in the Premier League, home and away. Taking on the Toffees here at Molineux. Renato Sanchez says, Gaffer, I know you love Jimenez, but don't forget about me. I've been the player of the season as well this season. Gives us the opener right before the break, and for Jordan Pickford as well. I hate to criticise the guy. I think he gets a bit too much criticism in my opinion, but really, let's be honest here, he should have saved that one. What's the cliche? He's got arms like a T-Rex. Well, for that moment there, his arms were too long. Hits his forearm and goes into the back of the net as Wolves take the early lead. Sanchez's goal, though, he claims it's 6th of the year as we get ourselves in front, but right past the hour mark, the Toffees would respond and find their leveller. In our last meeting, it was Richarlison assisting Rodriguez, but here it's Rodriguez repaying the Brazilian as he slides him through, and the former Watford man gets Everton back on level terms. And with 22 minutes to go, chance to restore our lead and get back in front, and the chance fell to the right man as well. João Moutinho was our best player on the pitch in this game. Nice little ball in through to the veteran, but sadly slices the shot into the side netting and blows the chance to win the game, and that will be our best chance remaining in the match as well. Final score, Wolves 1, Everton 1. Once again, another one of those games where the AI score with their only shot on target. Those are the most frustrating games where you don't win, knowing that really there wasn't much you did wrong, you just weren't clinical enough on the other end, I suppose, and that was certainly the case for that game. 1-1 the final score, and 3 draws in our last 4 games now, so whilst the unbeaten streak survives, this sort of form probably isn't going to keep us in Europa League place. And for our 5th and final game of today's episode, and the final game of the calendar year before the January window opens as well, we will take on the current champions Liverpool away at Anfield, who really needed to win this game to cut the gap on Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, and they started off with that sort of urgency as well. First Patricio making a great save, and then Sadio Mane's header cleared off the line by Ait-Nouri, who I've given quite a bit of game time to recently, and I've been very impressed by the man on loan right now. as it was still 0-0. But it was all Liverpool in the first half. Thiago almost scored a spectacular goal right before the break to give the Reds the lead heading into half-time. Final kick of the game being his acrobatic effort just wide of the post. It was still 0-0. But I felt like their goal was going to come at some point as we were still dealt at 0-0. They were looking a far better team. And after Conor Cody's fantastic man of the match display at Molineux, I thought he was doing really well in this game as well. As he robbed his man, the ball went straight back to Oxlade-Chamberlain though, and with one of our back three out of position, that's always a worrying sign. Unfortunately, as the ball's rolled through to Roberto Firmino, there are certain goals where you just have to say that's an AI on legendary / ultimate goal, which there's not much you can do about it. The trajectory and the spin of this chip by Firmino is unbelievable. Watch the bend on this ball here. Look at how far it looks like it's going wide there. And then the spin takes it just inside the post, just over the outstretched reach of Rui Patricio, and just past Ferro's desperation dive on the lunge as well. That was inch perfect from Bobby Firmino as Liverpool found a goal to finally get in front. So with half an hour to go, I upped the intensity, did everything I could to try and find that levelling goal. First Traore's shot well saved by Alisson as it was still 1-0 to the Reds, but from the resulting corner, that man rescues us once again. Raul Jimenez, I am absolutely in love with our Mexican at number 9, finds our equalising goal right in front of the travelling fans there in the final 10 minutes to give us a very credible point away at Anfield. Beats Fabinho in the air with brute strength, and that's part of Jimenez which I absolutely love as well. He's so deadly with his feet, but I'd say about a third of his goals this season have been scored with his head. He's really good from crosses as well, and this year, as we know, crosses aren't very effective, but Jimenez is really strong in the air, and he proved it there, beating the Brazilians, if you will, Fabinho and Alisson to give us a point there. 4 draws in our last 5 games means we remain in 7th place. We're 6 points off Chelsea in 4th place right now, 5 clear of Leicester in 8th in the race for Europa League football, and at the top of the tree, 18 wins in 21 for Pep Guardiola's Man City, still undefeated, 12 points clear of Liverpool. It looks like it's going to be their title this season. As for us, there's still plenty of time, 17 games to go to get us into the top 4, but I'm now starting to wonder, after a bit of a rough patch of form, 4 draws in our last 5, is it going to be Europa League at best this season, or will we have what it takes to get in to the top 4? I guess we'll have to wait and see. But that was this episode of the Realistic Career Mode, guys. A big thank you for watching if you have enjoyed it, and if you have, then please do drop a like. You see the top assist scorers, top assist chart and clean sheets charts as well, as Sadio Mane leads the race in the hunt for the golden boot right now. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of the Realistic Career Mode, where the January transfer window will open very soon. Oh, and by the way, as you're taking a look at the Patreon thanks screens, as always, much love to my Patreon gang. Thank you so much for keeping me on YouTube. Yesterday, my PS5 got delivered. Very, very excited about it. FIFA 21 will be out on the PS5 in early December, so expect a new project and a new career mode to start around that time. Have a great day, guys. Much love, and I'll see you for the next episode of Realistic Career Mode very soon.